Wow, so this Nintendo Direct for September had a lot of surprises that even I didn't expect. Let's get into this crazy Nintendo Direct. So before I start, I want to say welcome to the channel Spartan Mac. You just subscribed to my channel recently and I hope you enjoy my content going forward. So Nintendo held their not too all secret Nintendo Direct with their not too all secret reveals, but I think one thing that you can say about the September Direct is that there were a couple curveballs thrown like Star Wars and Xenoblade Chronicles, not to mention more Smash Bros Ultimate characters on the way. In this video we're going to talk about what was shown at the Nintendo Direct and kind of go over what made this Direct so great for me and others, which is a little different from what other people are thinking about the September Direct, which they thought it was just good. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like or dislike and subscribe for more Nintendo news. It really helps the video and channel reach more people when you do that. So the Nintendo Direct opened up with the ever so famous Blizzard game Overwatch. It was leaked out due to some GameStop SKUs appearing, which we covered on this channel, so it wasn't really a big surprise, but it's still a welcome nonetheless. Now we thought it was coming on October 18th if I recall from the leak, but apparently you're going to be playing Overwatch on your Nintendo Switch on October 15th. Pretty close to the leak date and really exciting for those who have hotspots to play Overwatch anywhere, at home or on the go. We also got some new Luigi's Mansion 3 gameplay. They showed off some new areas where each floor is going to have a theme. They showed an Egyptian themed floor and one that's called a dance floor with dancing ghosts and other things that give it that Nintendo charm. And I think my favorite one that they showed off was the pirate theme. I'm a sucker for pirate themed boards, or just pirates in general. And next is the free-to-play Kirby game called Super Kirby Clash. It's a game that's very reminiscent of the Nintendo 64 game Kirby 64. Now according to the trailer, there's going to be roles that each player will have, which will most likely extend to tank, DPS, and healer. You can fight bosses and collect gear throughout your playthrough, and there's also multiple ways you can play with other players with online multiplayer functionality being added in. The interesting thing is going to be whether it's free or do you need the Nintendo subscription to play it online with other players. I'll most likely be doing a review for this, so make sure you're subscribed for that. Nintendo moved on to the Trials of Mana remake, and wow, this looks really good. I've never played Trials of Mana, but this game looks incredibly fun. Some of the interesting aspects of this game that I like is the class system that you can change your character as you grow stronger. And you also have the free movement, kind of like the Ni no Kuni series. More closer to Revenant Kingdom than Wrath of the White Witch actually. Which actually is coming to Nintendo Switch, the first one. The next game I want to talk about is by Game Freak. A Little Town Hero is an RPG game where you play as Axe, a town member who's using ideas to fight, which sounds a little weird but interesting at the same time. It seems there's going to be a strategy when using these ideas because they're going to be random attacks. I do like the art style of the game and the gameplay looks fun, so I think I might check it out. The next one is a huge one. Banjo is out, guys. They announced that Banjo is available for the Nintendo Switch and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate when that Direct happened. Now this announcement was followed by a tease by Nintendo, and they definitely did this on purpose. They briefly stopped on the Super Nintendo and then followed by a pretty cool slideshow of different kind of animations that had a retro look, which was very fun to watch. Which the Smash invite landed on Terry from Fatal Fury. Now it's still in development, so there wasn't really much to show for them for us, but they did show a short gameplay clip of a couple moves that you're going to be using, or maybe you won't use. They might trash those. But the thing to take away from this is that there are more to come. After the 5th pack in the Smash Bros. Fighter DLC packs, they're going to be introducing more. And tell me your guesses down below. Who would you like to see in this new line of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate characters? Honestly, since Overwatch is on the Switch, why not Tracer? They also showed some new Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past gameplay, and wow, this looks really good. More info on the Dungeon Maker too, which is something I'm really excited for. It was weird seeing other Nintendo characters show up, but it's a cool addition at the same time, along with the next game shown being Dragon Quest XI, which has a free demo out right now, by the way. Now next up is Tokyo Mirage, which is a game that was released on the Wii U, but seeing as the Wii U didn't really do much in sales, a lot of people didn't pick it up, me including, so it's really good that it's going to get a second chance on the Nintendo Switch. It's available for pre-purchase too if you're willing to buy it before it comes out. We also have a huge game called Divinity Original Sin 2 on the Nintendo Switch, a game that I've been really curious for a long time. Again, it is up to 4 players and you can play online. You probably will need a Nintendo Online subscription for this, by the way, so if you don't have it, pick it up if you want to play with your friends. But the cool thing about this is that you're going to be able to take your file from the Steam version of this game and play it on the Nintendo Switch, being able to take it on the go. Now this may not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but the fact that you can take on your file that you've been working on Steam and put it on the Nintendo Switch is great. It served well for Final Fantasy Fantasy X-2 when they did it with the PS3 and the PS Vita, and I think it's really going to complement the Switch version really well. And let's not forget about the third-party support. Bethesda is back with even more support for Nintendo Switch with a Doom game that I think a lot of us want to see here, and that is Doom 64. If we can get Doom 64 on the Switch, what else Nintendo 64 games can make the jump? Glover 64, I'm honestly probably the only person who wants Glover 64, but it's something that's from my memory as a child. I mean, hell, since Nintendo and Microsoft are playing Buddy Buddy, why not put Conker's Bad Fur Day on the Switch? Or Live and Reloaded, maybe even both, maybe even in a double pack. Next up is new information on Pokemon Sword and Shield. They showed 4 new gameplay mechanics off for the game, and the first one they showed off was customization for your character, which looks pretty customizable, which I'm very glad. Second, we have the camp, the Pokemon camp, that helps you increase your Pokemon stats if you end up interacting with your Pokemon. And third, we'll be cooking new recipes for our Pokemon to help them along, and there are over 100 types of recipes, which is pretty cool and kind of reminds me of the Zelda Breath of the Wild recipes. And they also showed off 2 new Pokemon for Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is pretty cool. Next up was something really awesome, and that's Super Nintendo for Nintendo Online Service. One thing that me and many were worried about is that the games weren't going to be good at launch, but the great thing is that they have a lot of classics and a lot of good games for the Super Nintendo, like Kirby, Dreams Course, Zelda Link to the Past, Mario Kart, Super Mario World, and a lot more. They even have some of the games that I have on my top 10 Super Nintendo games that the Nintendo Switch Online Service needs video, which I'll leave a link in the description for that video if you're curious about that. And of course, not to mention that Super Nintendo controller, which was leaked by a patent that Nintendo filed, which again, we of course cover that on this channel. So next up, I want to touch on something that's very weird and something that could lead to some interesting possibilities, and that's Star Wars Jedi Knight: The Jedi Outcast, a game that I've never played, but a game that I could see a lot of people, me including, liking from the gameplay that they showed on the Direct. Now, the interesting thing about this is, could we see more Star Wars games coming to the Nintendo Switch? Tell me which ones you would like to see ported over to Nintendo Switch, or maybe games that were around that era that you want to see on the Nintendo Switch. We also got that rumored Assassin's Creed 4, one of the best Assassin's Creed games coming to Nintendo Switch. It's bundled with Assassin's Creed Rogue, something that I'd rather not have, but it's a nice addition if you enjoyed that game too. But playing Assassin's Creed 4 on the go, did anyone think when Assassin's Creed 4 came out that we would be playing this on a mobile platform on the go made by Nintendo? It's crazy. Now, they also showed some quick reels of flashes of games from a bunch of third-party games like Farming Simulator, Vampire, and Cthulhu, and a lot more. It's safe to say that the third-party support for Nintendo Switch is thriving. Now, one of the last games that they showed off, and something that I'm very excited for and a lot of others are, is Animal Crossing New Horizon. They showed off some new gameplay on that game, and it was pretty much the same thing that we got back at the Nintendo Direct during E3 during that tree house. Most of it was the same, in fact. But I did catch a couple things about the characters on themselves, something I didn't notice during that Direct. I think you're going to be able to customize your character's face more, and even the shape of the head and the body, because it seems these look very different from the regular Animal Crossing characters we're usually seeing. Different proportions and different noses and different eyes can be seen on different characters during the gameplay. And last but not least is Xenoblade Chronicles is being ported to the Nintendo Switch. One of the best games back on the Wii is making their way to the Nintendo Switch, and I know a lot of people are not too happy about all these Switch ports coming to the Nintendo Switch, but it gives these games a second chance. A lot of the games on the Wii didn't really get a good chance to get out there and get played, but being on Nintendo Switch gives it new life and gives a whole bunch of people a chance to play it now. Not only that, but if it does well enough, we could get sequels and more games in those entries, so that's good too. So overall, I think this Nintendo Direct was really good for me personally. It had some great surprises and gives us a new look to games looking forward in the next couple months and going forward into the future in 2020. As a Nintendo Switch owner, I'm incredibly happy seeing this being supported and getting a whole slew of new games coming. So what was your favorite game shown? Mine was Animal Crossing because I'm a huge Animal Crossing fan. Tell me in the comment section below, and for more Nintendo Direct breakdowns and Nintendo news, subscribe to Robo Rob, and thanks for watching my video, because you probably could have watched someone else's video, but you chose to watch mine. And also, have a good one.